Here's an idea that's both simple and immense, that the greatest spiritual teachers throughout history, separated by continents and languages and centuries, all discovered the same underlying truth. In northern India, in the 5th century BCE, a man named Siddhartha Gautama sat beneath a tree and refused to move until he understood the nature of suffering. What he discovered was profound. He saw that the self, the one that grasped and defended and feared, was not solid at all. And when that illusion fell away, what remained was unborn and unconditioned and beyond death. Siddhartha Gautama became a Buddha, an awakened one. Around a similar era in ancient China, a man called Lao Tzu wrote just a few thousand enigmatic words. Within those words, he said, "The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao." He spoke of a source that precedes heaven and earth, a reality that flows through all things without division, a way of living where the separate will softens and action arises effortlessly. He used different imagery to the Buddha. He was in a different culture. But again, the ego dissolves into something prior, into something whole. 500 years later, in Roman-occupied Judea, another teacher emerges, Jesus. He speaks in parables. He says, "The kingdom of God is within you." He says, "I and the Father are one." This is language of union, participation in a deeper ground of being. And when he speaks of losing your life to find it, the pattern goes even deeper. The separate self must dissolve to see the truth of reality. Centuries pass, entire empires rise and fall. In 13th century Persia, Rumi writes, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop." He speaks of a love that erases the lover, of dissolving into something vast and indivisible. Again, we have different poetry, but the same disappearance of separation. Now move to the 20th century, colonial India. A quiet sage named Ramana Maharshi asks a simple question. Who am I? A simple, direct inquiry. And those who follow the question to its very core report something familiar. The one who is searching cannot be found. What remains is pure awareness, unbroken, timeless, ever-present. So pause here and consider this carefully. We have India, China, Persia, Judea, thousands of miles apart, separated by centuries, no common language, no common theology, and yet a common structure recurs. Across these accounts we see a dissolution of the separate self, a collapse of subject and object, a recognition of a deeper ground of being, a loss of fear of death, and an emergence of compassion and love. If 5 scientists across history with no contact had all described the same physical phenomenon, then we would assume they were describing something real. So what do we do with this convergence? Were they just inventing the same myth? Or were they uncovering something deeper about the nature of consciousness? Perhaps there is a deeper possibility. What if consciousness, when it turns inward far enough, does not create something new, but reveals something that was always there? What if beneath cultural frameworks and religious language, there is a ground that does not belong to any tradition? The Buddha called it the unconditioned. Lao Tzu called it the Tao. Jesus called it the kingdom. Rumi called it love. Ramana called it the self. They've all given different names to the same thing. They're all pointing towards something that actually precedes naming. Maybe awakening is the recognition of something timeless, the realization that the ground of being is not fragmented, it is one, and not one in some kind of simplistic sense, one in source, like a wave that rises from the ocean. But over time, something happens. Direct experience gets turned into doctrine, and beliefs harden around it, and institutions are built up. And then what began as this invitation to union gets turned into the protection of the institution or of the belief. And perhaps that is inevitable. Maybe every insight needs structure in order to survive. But the structure isn't the same as the insight itself. The finger that points at the moon is not the moon. So what are we left with? We're left with a pattern. Human beings reporting the same shift across millennia. The self dissolves, separation softens, and a timeless ground remains. That doesn't prove anything, but it does invite a question. If the same recognition has appeared again and again throughout history, then maybe it's saying something less about culture, and instead it's saying something about the nature of consciousness itself. You don't have to adopt any religion to explore this. You don't have to believe in any doctrine. All you have to do is look inward. Look toward the one that is hearing these words right now. If there is a ground of being to be found, that is where you'll find it. If you want to continue exploring these threads that tie together ancient wisdom and direct experience, then watch this video next.